Hey there, everybody. I'm Jessica Tugwell, and I am here today to continue talking about the races on Breeders' Cup Friday. We've got a lot of horses to get through in today's video, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start talking about the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. All right. Third video in my series on Future Stars Friday, and we're going to be talking now about the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. There's quite a few horses to get through in here. We got a full field of 14 plus 2 also eligibles on the outside that will draw in. As of the time of recording, it's just Wednesday morning, so a lot can happen between now and post time. But we're going to go ahead and take a look anyway at what I'm thinking going into the race. We're going to go horse by horse, and then I'll give a little bit of my thoughts on the race overall and my opinions on who you might be using in your bets. So first, from the rail, Buttercream Babe. She was last seen finishing second to Dreamfire in the Surfer Girl. I expect that she'll show speed just because she's breaking from the rail, but she doesn't necessarily need the lead, as she kind of showed in that Untappable Stakes. And her dam was a multiple stakes placed winner sprinting on the turf. She was a winner at up to 8.5 furlongs, and she's by Twirling Candy. This is a horse who I don't really need in this spot, which is probably a problem because I think very highly of Dreamfire, but I don't think the post helps her very much in here, and she just hasn't shown a whole lot. She's kind of runs the same race in her 3 starts. Next is Flattery. She won her first 2 starts, both going a mile on the turf, and then finished third in the Surfer Girl last time out. Now, Offspring of Flatter do tend to improve a little bit more with age. She only has 1 graded stakes winner at 2, but the Flatter Unbridled Songcross has been pretty good with 6.7% stakes winners in 75 starters. And this is another one that I don't really need necessarily in this spot. 3 is Buku. She was super impressive winning the Grade 2 Jessamine last time out. Justify has 2 Group 1 winners on turf for 2-year-olds in 2023. So he's been on fire this year, and that's not to mention his Grade 1 winner, just FYI, as well. And Buku's second dam, Naples Bay, was a multiple graded stakes winner on the turf and a half-sister to Dahlia de Oro, who was a Grade 1 winner. So there's a lot of talent here, and I like the improving speed figure pattern that we've been seeing with Buku in these last 3 starts on the turf, where even though she had some trouble in that first maiden attempt, so you can cross that out, and looking at these last 2, a 78 and an 80 buyer, I think that she's a horse that you have to consider at the very least in here. Then we have Lom, the French bred. She's never been off the board in 6 starts, but she does stretch out past 7 furlongs for the first time. Her sire, Star Spangled Banner, was a champion sprinter, but her dam was stakes placed at 8 to 9 furlongs, and she's a half to a stakes winner at 9 furlongs. So I'm not really worried about the mile here. Last time we saw her, she was beaten just a neck in the pre-eclipse, and she's also already a Group 3 winner in the Pre-6 Perfections at Deauville. So this is one who at 15 to 1 is another one that I would take a look at the very least. I'm not sure that she's going to end up making my tickets just because I think more than half of the field can win this race. I think it's obscenely wide open, but Lom is one that you might rate a little higher than I ended up. Content, the winner of the Grade 3 Staffordstown Stud Stakes going a mile. And she's by Galileo out of a multiple Grade 1 winner going 5 furlongs on the turf by Dark Angel. And this cross has also produced Group 1 winning sprinter Havana Gray. But if you're worried about the distance, I wouldn't be. That Staffordstown Stud Stakes, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble saying that, was at a mile, and she won by 2.5 lengths. So not a horse that I'm concerned about the distance with at the very least. The 6 is Porta Fortuna. This is a Group 1 winner. She won the Shively Park last time, but has never raced beyond 7 furlongs. Her sire, Caravaggio, was a Group 1 winning sprinter at 2 and 3, But her dam won up to 12 furlongs, even though she was by a champion 2-year-old Holy Roman Emperor who never won past 7 furlongs. So while this is a little bit of a concern when you just see Caravaggio, Holy Roman Emperor, I'm not sure necessarily that a mile is going to be her game, but I love the fact that her dam was a router, and that gives me a lot more confidence in Porta Fortuna, who hasn't been off the board in 6 starts, again, is already a Group 1 winner. I think this is definitely the horse to beat in what is, though, a wide open field. The 7 is Galabrand. She won her first 2 starts and then was just too far back and came too late in the Miss Grillo last time out, finished 4th by 4 1/4. Her sire Violence can obviously get a precocious horse. He's the sire of champion 2-year-old and Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner Forte. And her dam was a stakes winner at up to 12 furlongs. Those last 2 races for Galabrand were at a mile and a 16th. So this is one where I'm almost wondering if she might want a little bit more like a mile and an 1/8. She's a really talented horse. She's a very consistent horse. Bayer has her speed figures as 71 in all 3 starts, but I don't think that figure is going to be good enough to win this race. So I'm going to lean against, although if the pace gets crazy, this is one who is absolutely going to be coming. The 8 is Life's an Audible. She was just beaten half a length by Hard to Justify in the Miss Grillo last time out. She's one of 2 turf winners for her first up sire, so Audible has not really been a great turf sire so far, but obviously that seems to be this filly's game at this point in her career. Her dam is a 3/4 sister to a 2-year-old graded stakes winner in Solitary Ranger, so there's some precocity there as well. She's one that if you like Hard to Justify, which I do a little bit, you have to at least give a chance to Life's an Audible, and that 15-1 price is certainly appealing. She's one, again, who I think would need to step up a little bit, but she showed some improvement speed figure-wise in that last start, wind stretching out to that mile and a 16th. So she's another one who wouldn't shock me, but I can only pick so many horses in this race. The 9 is Carla's Way. She was super impressive in the Group 2 Rockville Stakes, going 7 furlongs. She is a little bit more sprint-oriented on pedigree. Her sire, Star Spangled Banner, was a champion sprinter in Europe and Australia, and her dam was a winner at 6 to 7 furlongs by Cartier champion 2-year-old New Approach. But with the way she was finishing up in that Rockville Stakes, I don't think the extra furlong is going to be an issue, and I think she is a must-use in this spot. The 10 is Austere. She's 2 for 2 so far in her career, including the Kentucky Downs Juvenile Fillies. Her sire, Mendelssohn, of course, won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf in 17, and has already sired a 2-year-old turf stakes winner in last year's Jessamine Stakes winner Delight. And she's a half-sister to a Group 1 winner, the Criterium de St. Cloud winner Epicurus. So there's definitely pedigree here. This horse looks like she's going to be good. She's done nothing wrong. But once again, you can only pick so many horses. 11, She Feels Pretty. She was absolutely brilliant in the Natalma last time out. That was her 2nd start. And her sire, Caraconti, was a Group 1 winner in France at 2 and won the Breeders' Cup Mile at 3. So there's both precocity and the mile here, which, of course, she already proved in the Natalma. And her dam is a half-sister to 2 turf stakes winners. So there's a ton of pedigree here. I mean, she's out of a More Than Ready mare. If you know 2 things about pedigree, you probably know that More Than Ready is a turf sire predominantly. And she showed a little more tactical ability in the Natalma compared to her maiden win. So I like that from her, especially in a race that I'm not sure has a whole lot of speed in it. I think that she's going to be tactically placed, and she has a heck of a turn of foot. So I think that she is America's best chance in this spot. Then we have the 12, Hard to Justify. She's 2 for 2 in her career and was really gutsy in that Miss Grillo win last time out over Life's an Audible. Offspring of Justify went at 16% on the turf in North America, so there's no worries there. Her dam was a graded stakes placed runner on the turf, sprinting by Quality Road. So there's pedigree here. She's obviously already proven that the route is her game. Both of her races have been in a mile and a 16th. That 80 Bayer that she got last time out was pretty solid for this field. And she's one that I think you have to give a chance to. The 13 is Dreamfire, and if you follow anything I do, you will know that I love this filly. I have been a huge fan of this filly since that OBS April sale where I highlighted her on my blog, and she's been 3 for 3 in her career, and all of those were in stakes company. However, her Beyer speed figure regressed significantly in that Surfer Girl win last time out when she was trying turf and stretching out for the first time. She ran a 74 Beyer on debut and then got an 81 for that excellent win in the Sorrento. I'm not sure how good the horses behind her were that day, but she did it the right way. Looked like they were coming to her and she just kicked on. She is fast. She is so fast. And I think that even with this outside draw, that she's quick enough out of the gate that she'll be able to drop over and get to the front here. But she might have some company from Buttercream Babe on the inside who pressed her in that Surfer Girl. And you could definitely argue that there was some bumping. There's no argument. There was some bumping in the end of the Surfer Girl. And you could argue that Dreamfire deserved to be disqualified from that win. But I do think she was the best horse that day. She's one where I'm not... Look, I don't think she has a huge shot in here. I think I'm a little bit worried about that speed figure regression, although it's worth noting that the winner of the Speakeasy Stakes that same day also was trying turf for the first time and saw a big speed figure regression compared to his turf starts. So I'm a little bit skeptical of whether that figure is representative of the ability of the winners of those races, but you have to take it into account. Maybe, I mean, with a horse like this who's just this fast, maybe the distance isn't her game. She is a half sister to Nasruddin, a group grade 1 stakes placed horse at 2. She was 3rd in the Starlet at Los Alamitos. So there's certainly some pedigree here too. I love the Flame Away Sky Mesa cross. I think that's a brilliant cross, and I've been high on that cross all year. My very first blog post, I think it was about Flame Away, and I've talked about that. But anyway, I don't know if she has a huge shot in here, but she's absolutely going to be on my tickets because I would feel really, really stupid if she goes out there and just wires this field. She showed a lot of grit in that Surfer Girl, which I love to see from a horse like this who had kind of just been faster than everybody else prior to that. But I'm not sure how good Buttercream Babe and Flattery are, and the waters get a lot deeper here. The 14 is Le Pavot. She's never been off the board in 6 lifetime starts and was last seen finishing 3rd to Opera Singer, who would absolutely be favored in this spot. She's a half to 2 stakes winners, including an Australian Group 1 winner, Sir Dragonet. And this No Nay Never Oasis Dream Cross has produced 4 stakes winners in just 22 starters, so you know that it works. She, I think, is another one that you really have to take a look at. The concern with her is the outside post because she does have a little bit of tactical speed. She actually led in that second start sprinting and was close up in the Prix de Roi in her 3rd start. But I'm not sure, she doesn't have the kind of gate speed that a horse like Dreamfire does. And I could see her getting hung out wide from that 14 post. But she has a ton of talent and is one that I think is definitely worth considering. Then on the outside, we have our also eligibles. Go With Gusto was a winner on debut and then finished 3rd in the Summer Stakes against males in her 2nd start. She's actually a half to grade 1 Pegasus World Cup winner, Mucho Gusto, who was a graded stakes winner at 2. And her sire, Medaglia de Oro, is the sire of Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner, Songbird. So there's definitely some pedigree here, but a little bit of a question mark whether she's ready for the depth of this race. She wouldn't shock me if she got a piece of it, though, with the kind of improvement, if she continues to improve the way she did going straight from the maiden win to that Summer Stakes. And then on the outside, the AE16 Mo Fox Given. This was a $2,000 yearling. So honestly, just being in this spot is an achievement here. Having a chance to run in the Breeders' Cup with a horse you spent $2,000 on. She broke her maiden on debut at Colonial Downs and was just beaten ahead in an allowance at Churchill last time out. Motown does have a turf stakes winner in Mo Stash, and her dam was a stakes winning turf sprinter, but that debut win came at a mile and a 16th. So distance isn't an issue here, but the step up in class definitely is, I think. So, wow, this is a tough race. frankly do not have a strong feel for this race. It is so wide open. The morning line favorite is She Feels Pretty at 4-1, and that seems about right, if not a little higher, honestly, with the way I could make a case for just about everyone in this field. So I had to pick a horse though, and it would be She Feels Pretty. I thought that win last time out and then Atama was just brilliantly impressive, and I think that she can work out a trip under John Velasquez. But there are, like I said, I could make a case for half of this field, more than half this field. I think I did make a case for like more than half the horses that we talked about. But the horses I would really be looking at underneath are mainly Porta Fortuna and Carla's Way. I think that they're both very good fillies, and you always have to give an edge to the Europeans in these turf races. But I had to throw Dreamfire on there as a horse to use underneath. I do think that it's very likely, possible at the very least, that she holds on for a piece of it after setting the pace early. But who do you like in here? I can imagine that a lot of you probably like different horses than I do, because goodness, this race is wildly wide open. But anyway, make sure you stay tuned to the channel for all the stuff we have going on. Make sure you tune in. We have a 24+ hour live stream that's going to be going, starting with the Breeders' Cup races on Friday and going through the Sprint on Saturday. I'll be there live for all of these Friday races. So if I change my mind in the post parade of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, you can tune in and you can find out that I did that. But let me know what you think of this field. Who do you like in here? How many horses are you going to be using in your horizontal tickets? Because I could not feel safe. I could hit the all button in this race and still find a way to not feel safe. Anyway, have a great day and see you next time.